It's opening day of Kansas rifle season. It's supposed to be a father-son hunt, but about 4 o'clock this morning my dad woke up throwing up and not sure if it was food poisoning or part of the flu, so this morning I'm solo. But we came out yesterday and scouted and got to familiarize myself with the properties we hunted last year, know my way around, and it's actually real close to where my dad shot his deer last year. And we saw some deer, saw a pretty decent buck, and go wait for them to filter back from the fields, give it a couple hours, and see where we go from there.
I got set up before daybreak, which was good, but I struggled with where to set up. I wanted to get high enough for a good vantage point, but that put me further away from where I expected the deer movement. It seems you're always giving something up to gain something else.
We started getting here this morning. First of all, there's hardly any wind, which makes it tough because it just swirls and switches. So instead of getting down to the bottom, I decided to stay up high. So my scent's not cruising around down in there. We got a neighboring hunter came and sat down on a corner a few hundred yards from us. For a minute, I just saw a buck working this way, probably gonna work the drainage, but he's gotta come a long way to get to where I can shoot him. This guy may see him first, but it shows there's still some deer movement coming back from these fields. There's a buck. He's a pretty good 8. His G2 on his right side's broken, but he's a heavy 8. He's coming down that fence line. If he jumps the fence, he's on the property we can hunt. There's a littler 8 to the right of him. He just came out of nowhere. They're less than 100 yards from that hunter. I don't know if he sees him or not. That big 8's gonna hop the fence. He's a good deer, but with that broken G2, I don't think he's a first day buck. He's a nice looking deer. As you always do, I hope I don't regret that come the last day of the hunt. There's another 8. It's a different one. He's a pretty good buck. His G2's not broken. He's not as heavy. He's just coming out of those trees right at that end of that fence line. That's exciting, going from nothing to 4 bucks pretty quick. I really don't want to mess this property up, knowing that there's some deer probably bedded down in that bottom. So just go take a look at that point, see what I can see, and then make a game plan for the middle part of the day and this afternoon.
After not seeing any deer movement for a while and assuming that most of them had bedded down for the day, it was time to grab some food and see how my dad was feeling. Hopefully well enough to hunt in the afternoon.
My dad's still not feeling very well, so he's gonna take this afternoon off. Got a great south wind. This is a property that we saw a bunch of deer on last year. We didn't shoot one off of here. But with the south wind gonna get in this finger that drops into the river bottom. A lot of movement up and down the river. There's a bunch of winter wheat and some old cut cornfields around here. So we're gonna get in there a little bit early and sit, may rattle and grunt a little bit just to see if we can pique a buck's interest. And just sit there and then let the natural movement out to feed hopefully take place.
I moved through the draw into position, and unfortunately I did bump a buck. He didn't appear too spooked and the wind was still good, so I decided to stay there, set up, and hopefully see him or other deer as they began to go out to feed later in the afternoon.
Deer up there on the hillside. It's a buck. Pretty wide horns. It's an 8, not a real big one. Came off the top and he's working down the slope. Not one I'm gonna shoot, but it's always fun to get a good view of these deer.
It was a nice buck, but a young one and not what I came to Kansas for. I sat there until the end of the day and saw some other wildlife, but no mature deer. Day 1 was now in the books, and I'm hoping my dad feels better and can join me for tomorrow. My dad feels better this morning, so we finally get to hunt together on our second day.
We got a pretty good north wind, so let's go try set up on this property on a different spot.
Okay.
I think we can see in the bottom pretty good. We also can see off to the west.
That should work well. They come in from the south too sometimes, like we just saw that one.
Right, and we might intercept them. We saw some cutting out across the open flat, and we'd be able to see them in a much closer
We
range.
had those ones coming in from the south, remember?
Yeah.
A plan doesn't always come together, especially hunting. The deer didn't cooperate this morning. We sat for hours and saw a bunch of wildlife, but no deer.
There was a full moon last night, so maybe the deer were back in their beds early. Just really didn't see much movement today.
My dad suggested we meet up with his friend Rod and a few of his friends and set up a deer drive or two for the middle part of the day.
Well, why don't Dad and Lance and I take off and we'll get up there, find a spot where we can sort of see, because there's a chance they may run up, that way.
We're going to try to flank them. I'm going to take Charbot in
Up on that, okay.
up on that and try to bring them this way. But just don't get too close to that draw because they are right down in that draw.
Right.
And then I'm going to come in from the fence line and push them that way.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
That's the deal.
It's not my favorite way to hunt, but it's a very popular method and a good way to see deer in the middle part of the day and see where some big deer may be bedding.
Here comes 3 deer. 2 does and a little buck. Coming right at us. That was cool. Comes a couple deer, bigger buck. Not big enough. Little 8. Boy, they came out just 100 yards away or so. That was a big one. We could have had a shot. Could you have shot that one, Dad?
Sure. Go through the heart. I don't mess around.
After such a slow morning, it was nice to see some deer. Dad's friends had to leave for the afternoon, but my dad and I decided to do another midday drive, just the 2 of us on another piece of property.
Pretty good looking draw.
Dad offered to do the walking, so I dropped him off and went to get into position.
Got a good wind, south wind, so my dad can drop into that draw. His scent will blow up through there and hopefully push a deer out, not too aggressively to where they're running out of here. See if he can push a buck out to us. Here's a deer. Here's a buck. It's a good buck. Slow down. Jump the fence. Well, a drive that almost worked. Finally a big buck holed up in a draw. My dad pushed him out. The only thing was the deer didn't read the script. He went out left and didn't offer a shot. Didn't slow down. And we were only probably 80 yards from the road, if that. And he crossed it and went off the property. Pretty nice buck. Not a giant, but certainly one I would have taken. So maybe we're getting closer. We'll grab a bite to eat. Close, but no cigar. Set up in the ground blind, set up a little bit on a high spot so we could see behind us in case they come in that way, which I know they've done in the past. Set up on this winter wheat, the wind is perfect, got in early enough, the deer will hopefully start moving anytime, but at least in a half an hour. My dad had a few other things to do and figured he didn't need to sit in the ground blind this afternoon. We got a few days left in the hunt and we're gonna hunt hard the next couple of days. But get with him tonight to watch some football, have some pizza, and hopefully tell a few stories about the big buck we're gonna get tonight.
Just as we hoped, as the sun sank lower, the deer started to move.
Deer just seem to be piling out. We got 9 deer right here. Got 2 more bucks. Good looking young 8-point. Probably what would be a 6, but he's got his left antler knocked off. Hopefully the big boy comes out. Oh, here comes one from behind. Pretty good 10 just came out, but I don't think he's all that big. He's certainly not all that mature. He's a great looking deer. But I think he'll be a phenomenal deer next year. Even though he's a 10, I'm gonna sit here. I could have shot him already 14 times. I'm gonna have to let him walk. We still got a few minutes left. Maybe the big boy's seeing them and wanting to come join the party. It's tough. He's a nice looking deer, but just doesn't have that wow factor. Oh, he's pretty. I thought we were gonna get it done, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. The big boy didn't come out. Once the deer started funneling out, they had probably 18 deer in the field when it was all said and done. Probably 6 bucks. You can't shoot a big buck every time you go in the woods, otherwise everybody'd be doing it. And hopefully if you put your time and effort in, you'll be rewarded every once in a while.
We didn't see much deer movement again today. The full moon and warm temperatures are just not helping. Rod suggested we do another drive to end the day, and my dad and I headed up to a familiar lookout as the Blockers.
We decided to do one last drive for this evening. So Dad and I are set up here on the east edge of this drainage. Rod and Dave are at the west edge, and they're gonna slowly move this way.
Early in the drive, there looked to be a nice buck in the distance. Hopefully, Rod and Dave could get him to come in our direction. It was Dad's turn to shoot, and we heard some rustling in the leaves below. Turns out it was just a coyote. He's lucky we were waiting on deer. Suddenly we saw movement, and these were deer.
There's a deer coming across that opening, so we better be ready down here in the bottom, Dad.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Might come up here.
I just heard a grunt. It's a buck, so let's be ready. I didn't see how big he was. 2 does to your left, Dad.
What?
2 does to your left.
Oh.
There's a buck.
There it is. Okay.
Take him when you can. Nice. Nice shot. Way to go. The drive finally worked.
There he is.
Good looking deer.
Yeah. He's a nice Kansas buck, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Nothing broken off.
No, we've seen some broken bucks already. Good mass there. Nice. Made it up on the flat, make it getting out of here a little bit easier. We've killed a lot of animals together, and this isn't going to be the last.
Nice.
Fun hunt.
This is supposed to be the last day of my hunt, and with my dad's tag filled and little deer movement again, my dad wanted to drive a piece of property where I killed my deer the year before.
I'll go around and set up where I did last year in that sort of pinch point funnel. They'll obviously get your scent and hopefully come running. Nothing less than a 160.
Okay.
All right.
I'll leave no buck unturned.
You got it. All right.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay.
While my dad waited 15 minutes or so to start walking, I got set up in the same position where I shot my buck last season.
This looks like a spot, the same spot as last year. You can see pretty much anything comes down through this funnel.
It didn't take long for the action to start.
There's a deer over here. Can't tell what he is. It is a buck. A decent 8. If he's bigger than last year, he's not much. It's too bad, because he offered a great shot. Nice buck. I've shot several deer about that size, and I'm holding out for something bigger.
I didn't hear any shots, but then I said the same thing last year, and you had a deer when I came up.
One pretty decent 8-point came out. No does, no fawns, nothing.
An end to yet another great hunting trip. Anytime I can spend time in the outdoors with my dad, it's a special hunt. I was right by my dad's side when he killed his buck, and that's a recipe for great memories. I set my sights high on this hunt after killing a couple of smaller bucks the past few years, and when you do that, you risk not taking one. I could have killed several bucks on this hunt, but that's not what this hunt was about for me. We're doing it on our own, on unmanaged properties, and even though we know there are big deer around, there are no guarantees we're going to shoot one, much less see them. Even though the best tag soup doesn't taste very good, there are no regrets on this pure hunting hunt.